Willie D. Live.
Thank you for your service, man. You have been on the front lines for as long as I've known you, and I've been knowing you over 30 years.
Yes, sir.
Like, man, what is it like to be on the front lines every day? Like, I've been on the front lines a few times, but I'm talking about every day, all day. Every time something go down, they calling you. They calling Quan. Let's get Quan on the line. What is that like? What type of responsibility is that?
Let me first start appropriately by saying, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there's but one God to whom praise is due forever, the sender of Moses and the Torah, Jesus, and a perfect gospel, and the final written revelation to a prophet, Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah. I greet you in the greeting words of peace, of Assalamu alaikum, to the Christian family, to Christ be the King, and he is the King, and in his name we pray. And I greet my Pan-Africanist family, Ashe Hotep, of your viewing audience, and I greet the family of the Black liberation struggle for freedom, justice, and equality, Black Power. Those words simply only mean people organized working eternal resurrection. Brother, to answer your question appropriately, and this is the kind of show we can just keep it straight real.
Absolutely.
And just get straight to the point and be honest. It's a painful journey, brother. A lot of people see it and they think, oh man, I would love to be like that. I would love to do that. I would love to be an activist. Oh, I would love to be out on the front lines fighting for our people. But they don't see what's taking place behind the scenes in so many different arenas to make sure you're not successful, to find things they can put in your way as opposition, where there be a number of things, and they don't see the traps. If you're a real freedom fighter, and this enemy that has always been against the rise of Black people, believe you have any real power, then they set traps for you. And many brothers and sisters who want to be an activist don't understand that it takes tremendous character. A lot of us want to be activists, but we're morally and spiritually bankrupt. We want to be pastors. We want to be political leaders, but we don't want to be tested severely. And so, brother, I could tell so many stories of the pain side. And I would say to those young brothers and sisters, if you ever desire to be an activist, let me be straight with those young people. There are certain things that you will never be able to do if you truly want to be successful and have a real impact in our community with our people and have an impact against the enemies of the rise of Black people. There are certain things you cannot do. That's why you've never seen me, brother, at a house party, in a nightclub, in a strip club, in a bar, not even a cigar bar. You've never seen me out partying and kicking it like that, because I know what the enemy is doing. If you're real in what you're doing and you're effective, they'll produce what is called a psychological profile on you, and they search your weaknesses. And the minute you threaten an entity that has the power to exploit that weakness, then they'll set the stage to do so. But young activists don't understand that it's not the enemy that you see that is the most dangerous. It is the enemies that you don't see. It's those who smile in your face, who pat you on your shoulder, who say, Black Power, Salam Alaikum, I'm with you, brother. I'm with your sister. But you don't know what they have been involved in their private lives. And they have been flipped. And they are now being exploited by the enemies of Black people, normally three-letter agencies, and then they take that one, male or female, and give them a specific said job description. See, you want to be an activist, but you don't want to think like that. You don't want to deal with all of that. Brother, a lot of our people would be shocked to know who the real enemies are among us as a people. They often call them gatekeepers. But gatekeepers are only effective if you're going to that gate to eat. Gatekeepers have never controlled Quanell X. They never made me not do something or do something. And those gatekeepers look like us. But unless you're going to that gate to eat, then they have tremendous influence over you. And most of the gatekeepers are bought and paid for by the very enemies black people have been fighting to get free from. And so most of our quote-unquote activists, political leaders, they become compromised. Why? Because they need employment. Because financially they can't survive. And the enemies of our people know this. And so they rob you of your revenue stream. And then what happens is you have to go to a gatekeeper for employment.
Isn't that the same thing that happens with those who subjugate the ones who block people like you, people like me, black people, period? Isn't that the same thing, what they do on a power side? They need employment. Even though they know certain things that they do is dirty and low down and shameful, they do it anyway because they need to get to that money. You can even go all the way back to slavery and say they did that because they was trying to get to the money. So it ain't a whole lot of difference.
I was on CNN one evening with Don Lemon, and he and I both were in the dressing room. And I thank the brother for graciously inviting me to his show. And we were talking. And I said to Brother Don Lemon, I said, brother, you're a very intelligent brother. I said, but there's a significant difference between you and I. I said, brother, I'm free. I say, you're not free. I said, because the very people that want to keep their thumb on the rise of black people sign your check every day. Their signature's not on mine. I said, I'm free. I said, they can't threaten to take a platform from me because God gave me my platform and I can open and close on any corner. I said, brother, that's the difference between you and I. And it's not just good brothers like him because he proved it. Well, they proved it to him. The minute he said something that they didn't like, then they took his platform from him. Then Elon Musk manipulated the brother and then made him look foolish to the world because the brother wanted respect in his contractual negotiations with Elon Musk. That's the problem, Brother Will. Our people are not free who look free to us. Our politicians are some of the most handcuffed men and women that you will ever meet. Some of them truly mean well. But when you look at their campaign contribution rolls, 99% of the money comes from outside of the community. And so if you are trying to be a politician and you know that political donations and contribution is the mother's milk to a cow, well, then you got to seek that money because it takes money to win. Well, if you're taking that money from outside of the constituency that you represent, he that pays the piper picks the tune. They've never been able to do that with me. That's why you've never seen me run for Congress. You've never seen me run for state rep, city council, none of that. If it's based on a popularity contest, I believe I would do very well. But I know better because then you got to be a political whore. I'm being real right now, brother, because you got to say to every constituency that you are seeking a vote from, you got to tell them what they want to hear. You got to say to them what makes them feel good. And you got to sell your masculinity down the damn drain to seek a vote from them. And I've never done that. And that's why I will never run for a political office because I believe in what God says. You love the sinner, but you hate the sin. You can't send me to the transgender community and I put on a dress to make them feel comfortable so you will give me your vote. You can't send me to a constituency that says young boys and young girls should compete in the same sports, and yet this is our political pack, and we want boys and girls, no matter what they identify with, in wrestling matches together, and then I support that because I need their political endorsement. I don't believe in none of that. And so that's the huge, significant difference. I love all of my brothers and sisters. Even those who have spoken ill of me and said negative things about me, you have never, ever seen me publicly condemning any one of my brothers or sisters, in spite of what they may have said about me, because I understand and I know who the real enemy is. And that's what hurts me about a lot of our leaders in music, entertainment, politics, business. We love tearing each other down. We love character assassinating each other with our tongues. And we're like the scripture, your mouth has become an open receptacle. And what is a receptacle? A garbage can. But you make a living now, speaking ill and foul of your own people. And these same brothers wouldn't dare say that about the LGBT community. They wouldn't dare say it about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But you talk about black folk like they dogs. You talk about each other like you're worse than the vermin that coming out your mouth spit to a curve. You bold when you castrating other black men and women. But when it comes to talking to the real enemies of our people, you sound like a pussycat. You can't hear a rat piss on cotton, you're so quiet. I can never be that brother. And that's why I've kept myself independent.
Let's say you came across a person that you could identify as a person who's caused the black community the most harm, and you had action at going inside of a room with that person one-on-one to make him feel the pain that he caused or she's caused. How would you deliver that?
Oh, brother, my teacher, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, said that all of our people are not going to change on teaching alone. He said, my best followers are in the streets. So if we found a sellout among us, and that is a proven sellout, an unrepentant sellout, well then we need soldiers. We need brothers who may not be Alpha Phi Alpha or Omega Psi Phi. We love them. But we need them brothers on the corner who've been causing hell in the community to clean themselves up now and stand up and become a part of a unified army of black liberation. So when that sellout among us is unrepentant, there is a black drop squad that will visit them and deal with them the same way America deals with her enemies. Look at what America did to the founder of WikiLeaks. He was an enemy. She went to punish him by any means necessary. Look what America does to those men and women within the government who commit treason against the best interests of America. She punishes them and imprisons them. Look at what America does if you're a domestic terrorist and you're against the best interests of the present residing government of this nation. They'll kill you or imprison you. But we don't have that kind of unity. We don't have that kind of love for one another. If we had that kind of love, many of these head-bowing, knee-bending, butt-kissing, boot-licking Negro leaders among us would be too afraid.